I want people to call my family by my second name. Si kwa kina Timo, the Kimanis. Ukisikia kwenye ni kwa kina Timo, hiyo Timo. Huyo ni wapi? Ukisikia hujui huyu ni nani, the Kimanis. Na wanatumiaga hiyo Kimani sana. The Kimanis. Then I'll come and take the other two. Niekelee kwa matatu, niende nichukue loan. Niekelee kwa matatu. I use money that is not mine. Ongeza tugi nyingine. I use money that is not mine because I think also in investment that's something I came to learn. Use money that is not yours. Uko na 6 mic nyingine. 6 mic tupange. Medium goal. Right. What drives it used to be poverty. Poverty really drives a lot of investment because you are afraid of not being able to provide. True. You are afraid of kesho manze kama sitakuwa job. Tugi ataenda shule aje na I don't want him to go to the best school because my dad invested in my education.
Ongelelea juu ya generational wealth. And I think when we talk about generational wealth, land and property is something that you cannot ignore in that particular bit.
Sisi kwetu hata choo ilikuwa inachimbwa moja juu kila mtu akichimba yake hiyo land itakuwa kichungi.
Hiyo land itakuwa kichungi.
Right now the land is getting expensive by the day. But does that mean we cannot own land? No. Does that mean, again the question is, does that mean land is the only thing that we can be able to produce? And that's why right now new land is the skills that you have.
Welcome to Chanza Lifestyle Knowledge Series with me, Israel Lugadiru. This is basically your one-stop shop channel for everything. And when I say everything, I mean it. Everything real estate. So in the first part of this particular episode, we were talking and having the conversation about investing outside of your box. And why are we having this conversation? It's because it's been a notion that has been known for quite a while. Yeah, that real estate investment only belongs to a certain type of people who are ventured into certain industrial spaces. But today we're about to counter this narrative, and we're here having an individual who, if you ask me, the sector that he's in right now is totally different from the sectors that are known to be of people who invest in real estate. And so today we're having a conversation with the one and only, if you ask me, the funniest gentleman that we have in the 254. He's a man who a couple of years ago had a different body size, but today the man has gymed and he has increased in size, in wisdom, in knowledge, and also in other things. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the one and only award-winning creative Njugush himself. Njugush.
Umesema ati ni nini?
Njugush, juzi tu ulikuwa hapa, leo nakuona na kustuka.
Ilikuwa ni juzi tu. I hope you're good. Nice.
What's good?
Niko salama.
Uko salama?
Yes, man.
Njugush, you are quite musical. Can you sing like seriously? Have you ever thought of launching a music career?
We all sing. Unajua sasa mnajojanga mtu hivyo alafu akianza kuimba. Angebaki tu kwa comedy. So wacha tu nibaki tu kwa comedy.
At least toa hata wimbo moja.
Nimetoa, kuna nyingine nilitoa ya Abel ikaleta siasa nikaacha kuimba.
That was a good one. That should have been your call to get now into more.
Nilimtoa watu wakaongea vibaya, nikaona tena nikiimba sana nitatoa wasanii kwa soko.
Utatoa wasanii kwa soko.
So I stopped.
Ukaona tu wacha tu ikae.
But kuna zingine zinamuoka.
Good to have you, Njugush. How are you feeling? How was the first part of the conversation?
Ilikuwa fiti, and then when you get, because I rarely get to sit down and talk about investments, and because considered private and they are very personal in terms of in nature, because someone would invest in one thing as compared to the other. So but it's always good when we share information so that you also know kuna mtu anasema kwa hivyo siko wrong, I'm going to say that's an avenue maybe I'd try.
Do you feel like sometimes probably the lack of sharing of investment information is what hinders many people from investing and actually making it financial?
Because I think I don't know if it's us as human beings, but we tend to kuficha, we get keep. So nikijua kuna kitu fiti, kwanza nitaambia mabishi wangu wa karibu. Abel manzi, ni aje cheki hiyo nimekutumia, shikilia before ilipuke, because remember what I said, inakuwa fiti pale mwanzo when it's starting, kimbia nayo. Because that time is affordable, and you stand to make much if you're gonna sell it later, or if you're gonna maybe upgrade or anything. So I think when we share information, it makes it better. Even when you look at the kind of now investment that are coming up, when you're talking about circles, it needs people. So when you share information, that's the only time people will know about that. So sharing of information really helps engaging what in investment to take part in and what not to take part in.
And that's actually the conversation that we're having right here at Chanza Lifestyle Series. So if you haven't liked, shared, and subscribed to this particular channel, then you better do it, because we're just about to dive deep into a conversation and a half with the one and only Njugush. So Njugush, in the first part of the series, we stopped somewhere. And at that particular place where we stopped at, that question literally made you lit up. Ulikuwa tu hapo tu, ulikuwa tu shwa. 6 million shillings lying down somewhere in your bank account, or labda in your safe in the house. What's the first thing you would do with that money?
I think nitaigawanisha mara tatu. Because remember I said about investing in different things.
Yes.
So first and foremost, I'd invest in the education of my kids. So how I do that is I'm looking into Tugi right now is in grade. I think ako 2.
Hey, wanaume.
No, I think ako 2.
Hey.
No, ni vile nao miaka inakimbia.
No, mama yake ana watch.
Yeah, Israel bana. So I'd do math for by the time he's getting into what was called Form 1.
Yeah.
How many years are those? If I take 2 mic, nifunge mahali ina generate interest.
Yes.
So that means bado niko na ile principal whatever, and then the accrued whatever imekuwa ikiaccumulate. So I'd be able to pay for his school fees.
Yeah.
So that's guaranteed. Then I'd come and take the other 2. Niekelee kwa matatu, niende nichukue loan. Niekelee kwa matatu. I use money that is not mine.
Ongeza tugi ingine.
I use money that is not mine, because I think also in investment that's something I came to learn. Use money that is not yours.
Yeah.
To generate money.
Yes.
So I do that. Then hiyo ingine nishike ka unit mahali, kanyumba. Hiyo iweka ikiwa Airbnb.
Chanza tukua.
Exactly. Nikomboleshe, nifanye Airbnb, then nitulie. Uko na 6 mic ingine. 6 mic. Tupange ingine.
But don't ongelea story ya financing. We had an episode on real estate financing, and we touched that with Waithaka Gatumi, all the way from Centonomy. So if you haven't checked that out, please go back to this channel. We have that conversation where we really outline that in the best way possible. So please do check that out.
Waithaka alikuwa mwalimu wangu Centonomy, and he really opened my mind. And actually ndio hata nikuja kufikiria mambo ya matatu. It's through Centonomy.
For real?
Yeah. So we had a very class zake tulikuwa naleta na juu. Jana niambia you are not in business if your business cannot haiwezi endelea without you being there.
Yeah.
So wewe you are self-employed, you're not in business.
You're not in business. You're self-employed.
Yes, that's what he used to say. So when it came to light, so I sat down, nikaiwai and true to his words.
Interesting fact about Waithaka, when he was here, we found out that he's not a finance student. He was actually a communication student.
And that's very interesting. That's why he communicates. Anakuulizanga swali mpaka unashindwa. Anaweza kuuliza ayu Timothy ushindwa yenyewe, am I Timothy? Yeah. So and he's really good at what he does. Please, so you're talking about finances, sorry.
So we're talking about finances, and guys, please do make sure that you watch that interview. It's right here on our channel. So Njugush, when we talk about investments, I know it's something that has really been kept by so many people. But then for you, you've been free enough to come and share with us, and also to the whole world and to the thousands who are watching today, about investing and how it's been for you. So if I may ask you, what do you think are some of your medium-term goals, and also what drives your choice of investment?
Medium goals, guys. What drives it used to be poverty. Poverty really drives a lot of investment, because you are afraid of not being able to provide.
True.
You are afraid of kesho manze kama sitakuwa job, Tugi ataenda shule aje, na I'd want him to go to the best school, because my dad invested in my education. So it's only fair for me to invest in better, if anything, of education of my kids. So I think that the failure of not being able to do that, I think really leads to a lot of that. 2, motivation, it's building what do they call it? Something money. Yeah. Generational wealth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where after some few years watasema mzae manze alituachia. Kuna hazina tu fulani. Unajua kuna watu wameachiwa, kuna mtu tu kwa account yake akona 200 million.
Imelala tu.
Ati na hezi guza mpaka sijui afike. Baba yao aliwapanga. Wengine waliachiwa manyumba. Being able to better what I found at home, because I learn a lot from my father. My father really built a very great platform for us, because prior to that we didn't have anything in terms of to look up to, in terms of even for his education. Hakuna mtu amesoma kama yeye, and it was through the church. So he was able to change the narrative for us. Like kwetu ilikuwa una class 8 ndio mtu amemaliza shule. Unajua kwetu kumaliza shule ni class 8. But my dad alituambia, I'm not sure kama mtaenda college, but nyinyi pasueni high school, then we'll see. Tulimaliza high school, tukaenda uni, bro yangu akaenda uni, nikaenda si Kim. Lazima useme the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. Kim kinaweza kuwa ni Kenya Meat Commission, something the Kenya. So the fact that he built something for us, we can only make it better. And I'd expect Akina Tugi to make it even better. And that's how the Jonas changed their stories, the Kimanis, those names. Unasikia watu wanaitagwa na jina ya pili. I want people to call my family by my second name. Si kwa akina Timo, the Kimanis. Ukisikia kwenye ni kwa akina Timo, hiyo Timo. But ukisikia hujui huyu ni nani, the Kimanis. Na wanatumianga hiyo Kimani sana. The Kimanis, huyu anaitwa Kimani. Sijui Kimani nani. So I'd want that for me. So I think for medium goals, I think it's to be able to continue with the same lifestyle that I have and for my family and for those people that depend on me, to be able to maintain that even if I'll not be working. So that's my medium, to be able to say leo hata nikilala things are moving on. The fact that Siko doesn't mean that should be the end of life for those who depend on me. So I think for me, my medium goal is to be able to maintain what I do. My long term is to be able to multiply this medium. Like for example, I'll give you an example. If I'm able to, this is just an example. If I'm able to take my kid medium to a medium, so to speak, high school, then my long term would be when it comes to tertiary, tukifika huko my uni, I be able to do not medium but huko juu of that particular. So if in high school, let's say for example alienda shule tu iko poa lakini iko hapa Kenya, ningetaka uni aende nje apate outside experience. Exactly. And now that's long. But sasa medium yangu ni to be able to ensure mali tu niko cheze, but long term I think it's to be able to multiply that. Because now if we went all the way with the medium, let's say for example I'm able to, I'm able to make the same amount of money that I make now 10 years from now, then if that is going to be my long-term goal still, then that means inflation will do the thing on my investment. So baadaye nasema mzai alijaribu, ni kama sasa mzai wa kitambo akue aliachanga, aliwawekea Komani Markets, aliwawekea dhao na hiyo wakati dhao ilikuwa mingi today. So but cumulatively of course that's where the magic lies. But what I say is in terms of medium goal for me is to be able to maintain, because the foreseeable future, which is the medium, inaweza pia kuwa mbali sana, in the sense that I might not be able to make the same amount of money that I'm making now 10 years from now, which is the medium we are talking about. I'm talking about. So the goal for medium is to be able to maintain the kind of flow that iko up to then. Then from there ndasema imeweza, because
now
exactly
you can take it. Now still on talking about investments, tunaongelelea juu ya generational wealth, and I think when we talk about generational wealth, land and property is something that you cannot ignore in that particular bit. So looking at the context of us as Africans, I've listened to your story, when your grandfather bought a piece of land, but before you wafikie ni kama mlikuwa mnapatiwa ka point like
sisi kwetu hata choo ilikuwa inachimbwa moja juu kila mtu akichimba yake hiyo land itakuwa kichungi.
Land itakuwa kichungi,
ni mashimo mingi.
Exactly. So just to ask, do you think property and owning land is something that is ingrained in the inside of us as Africans?
Yes, and I think it comes from the during the colonial times. That's when it talking about, because the land was a thorny issue. I think if we didn't have that problem with land, I think right now tungekuwa na shida. And the most affected with land ukiangalia ni watu ambao wako highlands. Like for example, not a lot of times utasikia watu wanapigania land Kwale ati northeastern, tunapigania shamba, hii shamba ilikuwa yangu. It's always the highlands. Why? Is because mzungu aliingia huko akachukua the best shambas, and now getting them back juu ni tunapigania. So angalia, if you look at Central, uende huko Kisii, watu wanauliza na mashamba. Why? Because the best shamba zilikuwa zishachukuliwa. So right now tuko na hiyo. So it comes from that. It comes from a place, and that's why your parents will tell you take land. Like for example, I'll tell you, I originally need to have come from Elbagon, but Elbagon ilichukuliwa na Malami. So guka yangu wakaletwa Kiambu. Wakaambiwa wakawekwa, I don't want to call it a concentration camp, but what mzungu alikuwa anafanya, alikuwa ametenga land yenye mtakaa hapo. So my great granddad akipewa 5 acres, by the time inanifikia imekatakatwa hata itoshoishi. So it comes from a place. But as we grow, you realize, like for example, if right now the land is getting expensive by the day, you know, it's getting actually out of hand if you really think about it. But does that mean we cannot own land? No. Does that mean, again the question is, does that mean land is the only thing that we can be able to do? So yes, it comes from a place. Si ati waliamka hivi wakafikiria land is it comes from a place and passed over generations. But I think people also, and that's why right now new land is the skills that you have. Exactly. So msi atasema my new land ni the skills that I have with the AI. What is it that you can be able to do that will make you that much amount of money? Like for example, you'd make a platform. Let's say for example, you'd make an app. You'd make an app na unasema kama huyu jamaa wanavurutania e-citizen. I guess. Hiyo ni shamba. Hiyo ni shamba by the way. Na huwezi mpiga ati ya kutoa, lazima mtoe pesa. Exactly. So hiyo ni shamba. So huyu jamaa atasema, and that's why alikuwa anasema mimi nataka kukulia hizo subscription, kuna convenience fee kwa inaitishwa. Hiyo ni shamba. So and this is the new school shamba. These are the things that now we need to take advantage of as the new generation. Yes, shamba bado it's quite nini, but now kama huyu mtu wa e-citizen ni wapi hawezi nunua shamba? Hata hizi ziko Nairobi. By the way atanunua kila mahali. Exactly. So still speaking now on the shamba, now the physical shamba. 5 to 6 years ago you really built a beautiful house for your family in what is known as a satellite town. That's Ruiru. And tutoke Joska kidogo tukuja sasa hapa Ruiru, which is a satellite town. We're also building a gold mine called the Mayan Residences that you need to actually schedule a visit to come and check out the houses. So what do you think is driving the shift of people today, or the modern day client now deciding to purchase property in satellite towns compared to mainstream urban settlements as it was a few years ago? I think it's because of congestion. People want to live right in the sense that you want, unataka mali unaweza kimbia. You know, so nikienda Ruiru mimi najua kuna fresh air, nataka place unaweza kimbia, nataka place off. You are working in this environment. So utaki tena kuishi hapa kwa hii environment ya tunasumbuana sana, because when you go satellite, it means you have more space, it means you have fresher air, it means you have kumetulia. Exactly. It means you have access. Like for example now in that satellite, do you know sasa nikiwa Ruiru nimekaribia Murang'a, nimekaribia Kilimambogo, if I want to hike a mountain nitaenda hapo, like I'm again closer to some other wonderful things. There are people who live in as far as Naivasha and they work in Nairobi. So when you go to Naivasha, you have Naivasha Lake. Kwanza unasikianga huko nyumba unaweza pata on compound na 18,000. Exactly. So you even in terms of the quality of life. Hapa Nairobi nyanyani how much? Enda Ruiru hata maziwa unatolewa kwa ng'ombe. Ng'ombe yenye inatoa maziwa unaona ndiyo hii. You know, as compared to town. By the time ifike town, kuna hiyo added cost ya kuna mtu alileta, kuna broker, kuna nani. By the time inakufikia, unasikia, you know, it has been processed. But huko home mimi napata maziwa direct ikiwa tu moto. Inakuja moto, hata haijaisha moto na iekelea kwa moto ingine. So I think there are a lot of factors. Again, I talked about the fact that nowadays we have remote jobs. So also that inachangia niko na hiyo remote job. And affordability, it's very affordable kununua huko, wherever is a house, whether it's a shamba, wherever it is, it's very affordable both to buy and also to live. Because in terms of hizo vitu ukiangalia from food to other amenities, it's ukiangalia takataka huko utaenda upate, like for example kuna takataka ya Nairobi hii inachukuliwa, either ukae nayo ama tuchukue huko Ruiru. Ukikuja maybe hata najichomea takataka. So there are a lot of things that will lead to that. And also when you talk about the service charges, let's say for example for Nairobi watu wanachukua takataka, be it ni sewage, it's very different. Exactly. Juu unajua Nairobi ni ngumu jitobolee sewage yako. Ate nimeweka hapa, ate ni biodigester. Lazima uionyeshe kwa sewage ya gava unalipia. So for huko they have their own, like for example you find a developer, they have their own thing. Kuna generator ni ya hapo, kuna sewage yendi anajua vile anaisort, kuna whatever, kama ni borehole yeye amewachimbia maji. So So I think there are a lot of things. Those are just on the surface of what I think really would make me to satellite vis-a-vis kukuja hapa.
I think there's also one thing that I just like to add, because those are very beautiful points that you've laid about. I think one is also accessibility. Like right now, for example, in Emayan we have the Bomas Kiserian highway that's coming up. So in big, it's really huge. There's the Bomas Kiserian highway. So it's now becomes. I'll give you an example. From here in Westie, we're now in Westlands. The time that I take from here all the way to Rongai is about 30 to 40 minutes. That's without the expansion. But with the expansion of the highway, we're looking at it even taking a shorter time.
All the way. What I was saying about when you go satellite, you come closer to other. Like for example, now if I were to be on those sides, I have access to KWS hapo Nairobi National Park. Nikitaka kwenda kukula nyama huko chini nitaenda. It won't be a hassle.
Exactly.
You know, and you are away from. Because me, I feel, I don't know about you guys, but when I come to town,
it's very crowded. There's the congest.
You feel like you're from nowhere. Umetoka vizuri, let's say Malindi. Uko watu wametulia, Santi urudi tena Njugushi. Ukirani pale JKIA. Kwanza penye unachukuliwa na kabu, watu wewe haufai kusimama hapo. Dereva naye ameanza na stress. Sasa hawa wametuweka hapo. Umefika kwa barabara. Huyu wenda kuingia, wanaingiana. Malindi hamko mnaingia. Stress by the time unafika mahali unaenda city center. It's and that's why mimi nataka ni
peace of mind.
Ni ndio settle. Huko unapatana na watu hamsu. Unajua Nairobi unashukungu kila mtu. Hata mtu wako unaweza mshuku.
Exactly.
Nairobi like unakaa umenini, but huko unapatana tu na wase because everyone is going satellite. Let's say for example amejipata Ruiru, amejipata tunasema amejipata Laser Hill, wherever is they are looking for peace. Me I've lived that life. Nimeishi wapi, sisemi umo ni kubaya, but tumeishi huko and it's a beautiful place. But now wacha watoto wangu wakae huko. Me
you just want
na ukienda huko unapataga hata watu ni saa 5 mtu bado wako na stocking ya kulala na hakuna stress because that's life is good. But hapa Nairobi lazima uamke upige mswaki ukae by saa 2 huko. Hata unapatana watu wanatembeza umbwa hapa Nairobi. Tembeza umbwa wapi? Utapata tena inauzwa mahali.
Imagine inauzwa mahali fulani.
Anyway, hapo si hapo nilikuwa na but in short I think those are some of the things that will make me go satellite, and that's why people wanataka huko as compared to
kabisa. So what are some of the exciting plans that you have for your real estate? What are some of those exciting plans that you have?
So for me, as I said, is I wish I'd built again. I'll do it different, but if I'll be honest, I think it's to be able to invest to as many options in terms of units hapa pale. Juu kuna mtu, let's say for example atataka hii place, kuna mwingine anataka Ruiru because of their own whatever, kuna mwingine anataka huko, and the need of housing equal in terms of we need units, whether long term, short term, medium, whatever it is. Kuna mtu amekuja hapa, like for example there's a friend of mine who bought a house, a unit. It was a 2-bedroom. And then it happened mali ilikuwa huko because now when you're going satellite also tunakaribia, there are some other things that we don't see, like for example there are some universities, we have some research facilities, we have hospitals. Those people who work there need housing
for sure.
So that guy alienda akatengeneza nyumba yake pole pole tu, na that house was actually for backpacking. Yeye alikuwa anataka kutengeneza at any time, anaenda na nyuki anataka akuage na place ya kutulia, akienda na mabishte zake wanachoma nyama. Then came a guy alikuwa anafanya research huko. Alikuwa ametoka nje and they needed somewhere nice to stay, so he had a beautiful house. Na alikuwa anataka place hawata sumbuana na mtu anataka kuingia. It was a fully furnished house. And the guy took it for 2 years. 2 years. Na alikuwa analipa vizuri. Sasa unajua tena mtu amekuja analipa vizuri. So it is serviced the loan yenye alikuwa amechukua. So what I was trying to say is if in terms of if I were to invest, if I were to in terms of housing, there is that need. If I were to do a unit in terms of whether kuishi, juu mtu anasema sasa huko nitakuwa natoka, it's not about you. Sometimes we think about us. Kumbe si nyumba haifai ufikirie wewe. Think of kuna mtu anaitaka. Think of why hapo mtu anaweza itaka 100%. As compared to you. Like for example, saa hii naweza sema mimi niko Ruiru. what would I be wanting nikiendeleza hili? Si mimi. There is someone who is looking for exactly that. Because if I take for me, what happens 5 years from now when my situation change? You know, so nitaanza kusema hii nyumba, that's unasikia mtu alibuy how hii nyumba tukinunua tulikuwa tunafanya kazi huko, sasa kazi iliisha tuko mali. Saa zingine uko na nyumba umejenga but sasa unatafuta shule ya mtoto.
Exactly.
You are limited unless utafute shule ya mtoto hapa. So that's why I'm saying situations zina change, and that's why I say I can sell my house because kesho nikipata shule poa iko Mombasa Road na tunaishi Ruiru, what will I do? It's a catch 22 kind of situation. So what I'm saying is situation might change, but when I'm selecting a unit, I'd select not on mimi. Si ati mimi unless ni taste, but in terms of locality iko wapi, angalia hiyo mtaa ni nini iko around, mtu anaweza fika. From 5 years from now, what will be different? Because definitely kama sasa vile wanaambia barabara inapaduliwa, a lot of things are going to change because even in terms of investment. So that means you'll be better placed. Ulienda kitambo, umetulia, sasa watu wakisema barabara ilifunguka, sasa shida ni kupata nyumba. Si niko nayo hapa, mnataka hapo.
Na by that particular point, if you invested in it early, then of course there's value.
Exactly.
So you are assured, or rather you're guaranteed of a good return on investment.
Exactly. Kabla kila mtu acheze catch up game, wewe unachomoka. Wewe sasa unaenda satellite nyingine. For another satellite. Wewe Chanza wewe bwana, ni wapi mko na nyingine?
So final question for you Njugush today. You have been a brand that has been evolving from where you've been and to now where you're going. Njugush, in this 10 years from now, where should we expect Njugush to be?
Hiyo ndio nilisema medium goal. I think 10 years from now I want to be minimum where I am now, because I'd be lying to say sasa 10 years I want to be a trillionaire. That will be a lot of years. And because if you ask me 5 years from now where I wanted to be, so idea is to be able to multiply by 10 what I have right now in terms of 10 years. If for example you have 1 unit today, so 10 years from now you don't want to have the 1 unit. Minimum ni maintain hiyo 1 na iko sawa, inajilipa poa. But if I'm able to multiply by 10 for the 10 years, that's the best. Katikati best is if I'm able to do by 5. So if I have a unit, if I have a bus, can I have 5? That's the medium. Minimum ni penye niko, maximum ni times 10. So every year, 1 year is too long, is too short at the same time. Right now tuko April. The next time tutakuwa July.
Quarter 1 imeisha.
Imeisha. Na imeenda hivyo, watu wanasema sasa imagine quarter 1 na juzi tu ndio tulikuwa happy new year. Tukisema ate watu wameletewa, we were really joking ati mtu ameletewa mti ya Christmas February. Sasa tuko April. So it's a long is long and short, but I think that's my 10 years.
It's a times 10. It's a 10x.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much Njugush for coming to Chanza Lifestyle Series. We really appreciate your coming. So ladies and gentlemen, please
Chanza, I'll be back again.
Please make sure you come back again. And also make sure you go back and visit the site one more time.
Most definitely.
For sure. Ladies and gentlemen, you can actually schedule a visit at www.chanzalifestyle.com. Please do come visit us. Come and check out the development. That's the gold mine called the Mayan Residences. We would love to see you. Probably might even bump into Njugush because he's been there. Who knows? We'd love to see you. So please also do make sure that you follow us on all our social media handles, Chanza Lifestyle, all across different social media platforms, and make sure that you also like, share, and subscribe. We talked about knowledge sharing. This might just be your opportunity to share knowledge with somebody else. Israel Lugadiru, I'll see you in the next one.